Zhang Wei Li is furious.
She's upset. 100%.
Oh, welcome in everyone to a brand new edition of Axe Kick Picks, episode 120. I am live in Mile High City, Denver, Colorado. And Joe, it wasn't like our intro song. She didn't leave her flat, but she definitely knocked her eyelash off. How you doing, kid?
Good, man. Yeah, it was a good card. I enjoyed my weekend watching that one. Yeah, that's funny you said that. Science.
Yeah. Yeah, literally. I mean, it was a really good card. Ball Arena was nice. I mean, that's where the Avalanche play, the Nuggets play, so it was nice to see all that stuff. Crowd showed up a little late, like West Coast people do. I'll save that. But once around the Fatima Klein fight and Jasmine Jasvizius fight, it was packed. I mean, and honestly, I thought the featured prelim between Joshua Van and Charles Johnson, up until that point, that was fight of the night. We were like, dude, these flyweights, they were throwing, they were banging. But then here came Drew Dober. We called it again. Drew Dober, Lord Silva. It was ridiculous. But let's start with the main event. Rose Namajunas wins unanimous decision at home against Tracy Cortez. And I'll say this, a lot of people were counting Tracy Cortez out. Elevation didn't look like it was a factor for her at all. I mean, she went all 5 rounds. She didn't look like she was gassed at all. I just thought, surprisingly, I thought she got out wrestled by Rose. Rose was able to take her down a few times. The striking, I felt like Rose was a little quicker, but Tracy was connecting here and there, especially towards the later rounds. I think the rounds 4 and 5, she started to figure Rose out a little bit, but at that point, it was a little too late.
Yeah, a little too late. All for naught. It's funny. I think Rose is just overall better, what it comes down to, because even though she seemed to be undersized, Rose came out and talked and said that I don't think the scales were completely right, that Tracy Cortez very well missed weight, and they just, had her make weight. So there was an argument that she made on that point, and she was saying that the only faults that she was seeing in her game is when, she was kind of taking a reset step, that Tracy was able to push her back with some of her combinations. But other than that, man, it was pretty much smooth sailing for Rose. She dominates, lower level competition that she normally does. And, I see that the train continuing on for her in her own backyard in front of her crowd. Yeah, she did what she had to do, but absolute respect, the utmost respect to Tracy Cortez for, accepting the fight and coming over here, fighting at Elevation. I think it was a good main event. I see that Rose Namajunas does need one more fight, and one more fight can get her a title shot. I just don't know who it will be against. Maybe they get Maycee Barber back in there, but the thing is, Maycee now missing her opportunity with this fight, I think may have been pushed back a little bit. So we got to see what the UFC wants to do with it, but I do think it was a good performance by Rose.
Yeah, Maycee Barber was in the arena that last night. She was front and center to see what she was missing. And yeah, no disrespect, but she was fighting down the competition, and Rose usually does take advantage of that. I thought fighting at home, she definitely had the crowd. I mean, everyone was chanting Thug Rose. It was good. She did call out Manel Fiora after the fight, maybe get a fight in Lithuania. We'll see if they go over there. That would be really cool. But I agree. I think she does need that one more fight to fight the winner, whoever it will be, between Valentina and Alexa Grasso. So whether it's a rematch with Manel Fiora, even though Rose outstruck Manel Fiora, she did wind up losing that split decision. But maybe she gets that rematch with Maycee Barber. But I agree. When Dana White usually, whenever, and it's not her fault, and we don't want to punish her, but that's usually how the cookie crumbles. When they give you a main event to headline and then you can't make it,
you got to take it.
You got it.
It's unfortunate, but that's what pulling out does to you. It really does hurt you, unfortunately.
Yeah. So do you like that rematch, running it back with Manel Fiora? Because we all think that's who's next.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the argument that should be made. A lot of people may be on the side that think Rose is ready now. A lot of people on the side thinking, man, Fiora's ready now. So why don't we just have them match up, and that will be the title eliminator? Because we all know that regardless of the fact of what you may want to make in the matchmaking for the title, Valentina Shevchenko should fight Alexa Grasso. So the winner of that fight, I think, will end that little rivalry, and then we'll have a clear number 1 contender if Manafir were to fight Rose Namajunas.
Yeah, I can't wait, but it was really good. I thought Rose produced really well. And Tracy Cortez as well. She went 5 rounds in elevation with the future Hall of Famer. That was her best fight and best person on the resume for a while. So, yeah, we'll see what's next. Excuse me, for Tracy Cortez. I still think she'll be in the rankings on the flyweight. So there's some fun fights for her in the future. But
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think she really took too much punishment. And now, after coming off of 5 rounds and stepping on short notice, she's probably in the UFC's good graces. We could see her return as early as Noche. I don't think that's too close, and I don't think I think the timing would work. I do.
Yeah, I agree. I think having a Mexican fighter at UFC Noche, that would be good. And you're right. I don't think she took that much damage as well. Just the eyelash. That's it. I mean,
Yeah, and she had previously called for it, so she may get her wish, and it'll probably be the best for both parties.
I was hearing women MMA fighters on extra Twitter, whatever you call it, last night saying, "How is that even sanctioned? How is she allowed to fight with eyelashes on? Is that normal? Do you know that?"
I don't remember seeing that before. So I mean, hey, it's unfortunate, but we have seen someone who had a job done to their breasts that had accidentally get popped due to a punch. So I mean, we've seen those type of punches finish fights before, as of recent with Vidal. I think, if you remember that one, that was a couple weeks ago. So I mean, we've seen some weird instances and stuff like that. I don't know if you recall. I mean, this is not anything to do with like accessories or stuff, but it was like Leslie Smith, I think, and she had her cauliflower ear, and it blew up, and when the fight was called immediately from there, her ear literally was hanging by a thread.
Wow. Yeah, no, that was that's insane. I never heard of something like that. So I was like, that might be a good point. I don't know if she has any advantage. I think it's just for her own personal gain, like for her to look better. But whatever it is, good fight in the main card. And no one left, unlike UFC Atlantic City when I was there with the 2 women. Everyone stayed.
Yeah, it's probably, the New Jersey crowd, a little hardcore. They did say that Denver was where it all began, right? They came back to where it all started. That's something I saw UFC post about. But, New Jersey, was like the hub, you know what I mean, for all the pay-per-views and everything back in the day. And so, New Jersey being kind of deep-rooted with it, maybe that's why it's like, this is not up to our expectations, and they're going to let down. For the people out in Colorado, they're just, glad to be a part of a UFC main event. So
I'll say this, the crowd was electric through the whole main card, when it was filled up, they were loud. No real booing besides this co-main event. And I'll say it wasn't the best fight. I was actually falling asleep as well. I'm still on East Coast time, so it was still kind of late. Santiago Ponzinibbio, as much as I wanted him to win, I didn't think he won the fight. 29-28 times 2, Muslim Salikov, and then the other 29-28 went to Santiago Ponzinibbio. I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know what I saw. I don't know why I thought this was a good matchup for Santiago. When he got in there, and it looked like he wanted to fight it all. It actually looked like Muslim Salikov actually was the one engaging and pressing forward, setting the pace, throwing those high leg kicks. So I'm not surprised the split went his way. Santiago and his team were surprised. They didn't even want to talk. They kind of left the cage abruptly. Rightfully so. He was kind of upset, but I didn't think he won the fight. So I took him. I didn't think he won.
I don't blame him or his corner, because I am on the opposite end. I think that he won every single round. I don't think I think this was a robbery. Wow. I think Santiago Ponzinibbio won that fight. Yeah, Muslim Salikov was landing the high kicks and setting him up well, but I do think Ponzinibbio just looked better in there, man. And it also reflects on the global scorecard. If you look at how people scored the fight, same applies. So not only did I have it, I'm backed by my peers. So we did see Santiago Ponzinibbio returning and getting a victory, but he was robbed, and Muslim Salikov is on the receiving end of a W. So it was unfortunate. He wanted to get a win. Argentina's playing for the Copa America today. I think it would have been a match made in heaven for him to kind of fly back down after a victory. If he could have managed, that would have been great. But I saw it a little different than you. But we saw it when we went to 288. We saw it when we went to Charlotte. We saw it with 302. there is different perspectives from seeing it on camera and seeing it in person. And that's why you get, oh, why did the judge score it this way? Why did the judge score it that way? They're seeing one end of the cage opposed to another judge that's seeing it at other. And the same applies for you, where you saw it in the ring, in the whole arena. So what I saw was different from what you saw, and that's how we scored it that way.
I think the one round we could all agree on, round 3, went to Santiago Ponzinibbio. I think all the judges scored it for him. I think it came down to rounds 1 and 2. Honestly, I guess I thought that Santiago I guess he was landing the cleaner strikes, the more technical strikes, but I don't know. I guess I'm being one of those casuals where it's like, I wanted to see the more excited. He was throwing the harder shots, and I was around all these like young kids where they were like, oh, Santiago's not good. I was like, I guess it was influencing me, but I don't know. I guess it came down to rounds 1 and 2. I think that's where everyone mismatched. So if the global everyone and the hardcores like yourself said it, I trust you. But and hey, don't get me wrong, I wanted him to win. I had him on a ticket.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah. But that just proves that you do see something different live
100%.
and at a different angle than someone else that's literally sitting across from you.
100%. I mean, no matter what angle you saw this one, it was a banger. It should have been stopped. Juan Silva, second win in 14 days, doctor stoppage. I mean, these boys were just throwing it down. I'm actually surprised it went to the 3rd round, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Drew Dober, I mean, those pretty face, but man, those eyebrows.
That was nasty.
My. It was deep. It was gushing. Even Lord Silva in the middle of the 3rd round, like when he threw the second spinning elbow, he like pointed to Herb like, you gonna check this out? Like, it's bad.
Yeah, you gotta put a pause in the action there. But bro, John Silva is a force to be reckoned with, and to get over a guy like Drew Dober holding the most knockouts in lightweight history, you know what I mean? The dude's up there. He's in the upper echelon of them fighters, and you know, John Silva, I mean, bro, he could fight a multiple weight class, it seems. You know, we'll see if he needs to stick at 155 if they want to make that move, saying, you know, you had little, you know, weight cut issues in the past at lower weights. Maybe he feels better here. We got to see going forward. But yeah, I like this guy. He always brings it. And to get a win over Drew Dober just speaks for itself.
And the whole crowd was for Drew Dober. He fights out of Denver. Everyone was chanting for Drew Dober, but looks like Lord Silva won the crowd over too with his fighting style. He was very emotional after. He apologized again for missing weight. I was going to ask you, do you think this is his new home at 155?
Yeah, I mean, it very well could be. Like I said, competing with the guy, they could rank him now, you know? So he missed just his last weight at 145. So it might not be. They might, you know, it might be like a Max situation where you see him, you know, being able to fight at lightweight, but also being home at 145. So that could be the same for John Silva.
Do you think we could get a ranked fighter for him soon? Because even Dominic Cruz, he was there. I was kind of close. He was saying like, this kid's the real deal. Like, he's different than a lot of other, I guess, lightweights or featherweights. So I really don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a little bit of a jump, but I mean, not too bad. It's I see that maybe you get him like a top 15 guy in 145. Because if he can manage, you know, the rank guys at 145, then I think it would translate to 155 if he needs to make that move. But I do think he's more of a 145er. So, you know, styles make fight. Maybe this Drew Dober fight was more stylistically favored for him. But, man, we just saw Dan Ige step in on short notice, save a card, man. I don't see that being a bad fight at all. Looking at the other guys in that top 15, that kind of makes sense in terms of how it times up and basically what we would want to see out of John Silva. Taking on Dan Ige is a tough task.
Or maybe a future Hall of Famer and a guy coming off a loss. It's beautiful on your resume. Our boy, what's his name? Edson Barbosa. I was like, it just slipped my mind.
I was just thinking, I think, you know, unfortunately, Edson's kind of, I feel like it's trending. Danny Ige, granted he lost. I still feel like there's a lot of fight left in him. He's still in the midst of his career. Edson Barbosa, on the other hand, granted ranked 15th, I do think it's the twilight heading on out. So, yeah,
he's on his back end of his career.
You could sacrifice his, you know, legacy and where his ranking is to get John Silva ranked up in there. But, you know, it's also hard seeing sometimes Brazilians fight Brazilians. I don't know if they're training together, if they know each other well, or if anything like that. So, you know, sometimes that can get into the way of things.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. But it's kind of like the WWE. Now everyone's in one umbrella. It's putting someone over, Joe. That's what he wants to do.
Yes.
You honestly, I was very surprised in this welterweight fight between Gabriel Bonfim. Yes, he dominated the fight, but Ange Lusa, he fought a lot better than I anticipated, than I gave him credit to doing after quote unquote, I guess, quitting in his last fight. I thought he had some moments too. He took down Gabriel Bonfim a bunch of times. Just on the feet, it was a much big discrepancy. Gabriel Bonfim kind of was tagging him up.
How about this? Just how good is Brian Battle, though? Because it seemed like it was training for him to get Ange Lusa out of there when they fought. And, you know, Ange Lusa does put up a tough fight. You see, he doesn't really get finished. You know, all of his losses came via decision. And, you know, to take Bonfim to decision where he's just a bona fide finisher, man, I just, you know, he's a tough guy. So he does have the skill sets. It seems that his cardio can back up. But, man, I think Brian Battle actually is the winner from this, because it just proves he was on his way to finish Ange Lusa, which seems to be a tall task for a guy like Gabriel Bonfim, who's a bona fide finisher.
Yeah. I don't know if you have the button by you, but are we about to hit the fraud button on C-Rod? Because I was so disappointed in his performance. I mean, he was winning the whole fight, and then here comes the Gilly Gang, and Juicy J winds up sinking it in late first round and gets.
Yeah, that's his like sneaky move, bro.
It was insane. You know, give credit to Juicy J. That was a big win for him against C-Rod. But
man, it's just trending. You know, that's why I took Juicy J. I saw the value in it, bro. You know, and I got your perspective. You know, C-Rod has proved himself on you know, the victories to losses, but missing the weight and then getting that what it was an arguable robbery in his last fight, I just didn't like where it was trending. And so, you know, Juicy J, bro, he's a sneaky pick in a lot of fights. You know, he does have a little consistency issues, so he's inconsistent at times, but you know, after a loss, it's not often that he loses twice in a row, and then that reared its ugly head, I think, in this one too. And once C-Rod let up his defenses just for a moment, man, Julian Erosa, he sunk in that choke.
Real quick, the connection was unable. Did you hear me?
No.
What I was saying? Oh, wow. That's awful. I was just saying it was an amazing performance by Juicy J. Even though I took C-Rod and I thought C-Rod was having the advantage on the feet, he let up for, like you said, that one moment. Yep. Juicy J took his back and it was over from there. I think that's his 16th or 17th submission win. So,
dude, yeah, he's got a resume. 40 fights compared to only like 10 or 12 or 13.
Yeah, 10 or 11 or something like that. But this, like we said last show, this is his third stint in the UFC. This guy has one of the most experiences on the card outside, I think, Rose or someone. So, like, I don't know. I thought it was a bad performance by Christian Rodriguez. Where does he go from here? Because he was almost a $3 favorite, Joe. Like, people were expecting C-Rod to go out there and kind of finish a guy like Julian Erosa.
Damn, man. I don't know. He's definitely taken a big step back. And I don't know. I see somewhere down the line that they're going to maybe want to right the wrong with Raul Rosas Jr. I just don't think that's going to be the next fight for either of them. But don't get me wrong. If it's trending in this direction and C-Rod's kind of dropping and Rosas is kind of rising, we could see them square off again to get Rosas' loss back.
Yeah, and I think at the end, C-Rod's on his way down. You got Rojas Jr. on his way up now after a nice 2 wins in a row after that. So, yeah, they might not even cross paths. I think Rojas Jr. is just like, I'm fed up with you. I know the crowd was kind of fed up with Cody Brundage. I mean, do they cut this guy? I mean, yeah. I know I'm in Denver and he trains right here in Englewood, but, man, you quit, kid. Like that, yeah. Everybody in the stadium thought you quit.
It's just the thing with Cody Brundage is we've seen time and time again, he has issues with heart. It really seems to that. Like he doesn't want it, We saw it with the Dumas fight, right? When he did come in on short notice and he helped save that fight and save that card, but he didn't show up, he just took it. And then, I granted that these shots were coming in on the back of the head, but man, it's just tough to watch. It really was. And I don't think the fans deserve that. You didn't deserve to see something like that. We're just seeing inconsistency here with matters of the heart, and we want to see fighters actually fight. So yeah, it was just disappointing. I had Al Hassan getting a first round knockout, and that's now gone.
It was on its way because and you mentioned the back shots to the head. I'll give him credit. There was 1 or 2 that I saw definitively, but some of the ones he was complaining about weren't even behind the back of the head. I think that's why I kind of Herb Dean kind of let it rock a little bit, because he was like, I don't think it's behind the head until there were two that was clear. But Al Hassan was on his way to a really big first win knockout, and he fights out of Denver too. And Cody Brundage was sitting at the cage, and he was like, why are they booing me? And I'm sitting there like, are you out of touch? Why are they booing you?
Yeah,
I mean, what are we? Yeah, it was bad. He was visibly upset, Al Hassan, because, you know, he put in the work. He was the favorite. He was looking good in that first, 30, 40 seconds of the fight. And he was on his way to getting that first round knockout, like you said. So, yeah, very unfortunate. But, yeah, we do start the card with a no contest. But performance of the night goes to Charles Johnson. I mean, what a fight that was. And to be honest, the scorecards were kind of all over the place going into that third round. One judge had a 2018 Johnson, the other had a 2018 Van, and then the other card was tied 1919 going into that third round. And I guess the corner, I mean, I wasn't watching it on TV, but it looked like the corner was really getting to Charles Johnson, saying, you need a finish here. Maybe it was a little incentive, like, hey, we don't know what the scorecards are. Don't leave it up to the judges. And he came out in that third round with a vengeance. 20 seconds in, and that uppercut knocked out Josh.
Dude, it was cartoonish, bro. Those uppercuts as of late, like the Robert Whitaker uppercut.
Yeah.
Bro,
even Juan Silva against Charles Johnson 2 weeks ago. Or Charles
exactly. Yeah, it was shades of that, man. I guess these uppercut, Lou got a new meta going on. But, bro, I saw that Josh Van was up on both rounds. I thought Charles Johnson needed that finish. I thought it was great work by the corner, and that just shows how good of a fighter Charles Johnson really is, to be responding to what his corner was saying. He was fully aware, fully attentive to the situation. He knew that he needed to go out there and make a statement, and he did, bro. Beating Josh Van like that, man, that broke a lot of parlays on Ben, and it broke mine too. So shout out Energy Johnson, because I didn't expect it, but you did, and good call on that.
Yeah, plus 210. When he knocked him out, I was screaming. I'm like, plus 210. I was going crazy. But honestly, Joe, I thought it was 1-1. I thought Charles won the first round.
It was a great fight. Like you said, it was
100%.
fight of the night up until we saw that Lord Silva and Dog Dober.
And I thought Joshua Van, I thought first round he was kind of, like I said, he started slow. He was kind of figuring out what he wanted to do in that second round. I thought Joshua Van was really starting to put some things together and piecing them up. And I started to get worried. I'm not going to lie. And I was like, it's 1-1. Let's go out here. Let's get this 5 minutes. And then he came out like a bat of hell.
Yeah, like a banshee, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out Charles Johnson. Big win. Love the little hair in the back too. Always. It always gets me.
A little rat tail.
Hey, Jasmine Javicius. I mean, I gotta clip that. Oh, don't boo, suck it. She was playing the heel. I love it. The Canadian coming over here, playing the heel. You know what? I'll say this: the crowd didn't like her fighting style, because on the feet, Fatima Klein was piecing her up. I will not lie. She had the striking advantage. She had the power advantage as well. And Jasmine Javicius wasn't stupid. She felt that and said, you know what? We're going to grapple. I'm going to take this to the floor.
Yo, and honestly, I shouted you out before on social media, but yo, shout out you again for sitting with Fatima Klein's.
Oh my God.
Quick story. Jasmine.
Yo, quick thing. So my flight I honestly didn't think I was going to get here. My flight got delayed like 7 hours. I got to Denver at like 4 a.m. And it was insane. It was awful. And this girl, I go up there. I'm like, if this flight's canceled, I want my money back, this, that, and the third. So I'm talking to the airlines. And this girl's like, nah, like aviation needs 4 hours. This girl was talking. I was like, okay. She was like, yeah, I got to get to see these fights. My best friend is fighting. And I look over. I said, oh, you're going to UFC Denver? She goes, yeah, you're going? I said, yeah, absolutely. She was like, oh, my best friend's fighting, and she's making her debut. I said, who? She said, Fatima Klein. I said, holy shit. I said, no way. She goes, yeah. She goes, she beats me up. And she goes, the first day I met her in the gym, I knew she was going to be special. She goes, I'm with her sister and her other training partner. Come with us. I said, might as well. And you know, we were chopping it up, and her sister just believed in her, obviously. Great family. Can't say enough good things about everyone. They live up there in upstate New York. Great. I didn't know how good friends her and Aaron Blanchfield were too. She was in her corner as well. So
Hey, bro, they
people
train
over there in Silver Fox.
That's exactly right, man. Training at the same camp.
Yeah, but overall, I was like, yeah, funny. I said Jasmine, so I go, I was like, yeah, tough fight for her in her UFC debut. She goes, no, she has it. I go, you think so? You're that confident? I go, Jasmine's like an experienced girl. She's in the top 15. I think she has the size advantage. She goes, no, Fatima, she fought bigger bitches than this. I go, hey, shout out Fatima. I go, she's legit, but I did bet on Jasmine. She goes, all right, my sister's gonna right you wrong, and I love that attitude. I go, fuck yeah, I want you to prove me wrong.
I love it, but you'd prove them wrong. but shout out to their camp and the brothers and sisters of Fatima Klein, and I was glad to hear that you got along with them though.
And to be honest, it was a good performance on what 9 days
right for her, bro. And especially if she gets to drop back down to 115, right? We're thinking that's where she's gonna make it home, strawweight.
Yeah, that's her home.
She can make some movements in that weight class for sure with their striking.
Man, Montel Jackson, 18 fucking seconds. And bro, it wasn't even an uppercut. It was a straight right, bro.
Bro, I did not see that coming, bro. I literally, I watched the Santos finish before we'll get to that. But after that, I wasn't expecting kind of like a decision fight or maybe some grappling going on, bro. Turned it on, looked down. Boom! I was like, oh my God. That was impressive.
Yeah, it was insane. Very humble too. Montel Jackson really didn't want to say anything after the fight. But how does he not come out to, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I am for real. I mean, that's a layup. That's a layup for him. I gotta talk to his people. But yeah, I mean, Blackshear just didn't really come out at all. I mean, credit him, he took it on short notice as well. And to be honest, I think we see the inactivity from Montel Jackson because people see this. People don't want to fight a guy like Montel Jackson. So I think that's why we're seeing the little inactivity from him. But I mean, you get him a fight in the bantamweight, he's just signed the contract. Like he said, sign the contract. Luana Santos. Woo, that's my girl. I mean, what a submission win in the first round. She was dominant, 3 minutes and 27 seconds, however long it took. And then she did her little dance for us, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, she looked good in there, man. And she got the job done in the first. I didn't expect it that soon. I thought, Agapo would have put up a bigger fight, with everything that was going on. But maybe, like I said, maybe she's still out of her head a little bit, or it could speak to just, the skill and the level or potential that Luana Santos has. I think she does have a lot.
How about Luana Santos versus Jasmine Javicius now?
Hey,
is she ready? Is she ready for a top 15 opponent?
Javicius is what, like 12?
15.
13?
She's 15.
She is 15.
14 is Casey O'Neill. 13 is Andre De Silva.
I don't like that for Javicius. I feel like that's not fair necessarily. But
life ain't fair.
Life ain't fair. You know what I mean? Maybe if they don't match up, maybe, like I said, maybe you get her to fight on the Sphere against Tracy Cortez. Who knows?
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. Brazilian versus Mexican. I like that.
If you're really trying to get 15.
I don't think besides Rose, it just wasn't. It wasn't the hometown people's night. Josh Frem fighting out of here in Englewood, Colorado. Andre Petroski, say what you want. Wasn't the prettiest, but he did get the win. I thought he won all 3 rounds. He took him down. Josh, say what you want. Josh Frem couldn't get up, though. That's also the problem.
Yeah, they were complaining that Petroski was just like gassed and just by taking him down and doing all this. But no, he did what he needed to do. He needed to get back on track, and he got the win. So you can't blame the man for trying to do that. Josh Frem was trying to stand and bang, but Petroski was like, no, we're going to go do this, just like we've seen with other fights. So it is what it is. He did what he needed to do, and he got a victory. And I'm glad we hit on another dog with that.
100%.
I love early dogs.
Early dogs were barking. Andre Petroski, Gump said it out on the pod as well. He loved Andre Petroski, and it was a good fight for him. I don't know what's next for Josh Frem, but he didn't look good at all. And then to start the night, Elvin Elder, I mean, he gets a submission win in the second round against Darius Flowers. Opened the card off with a kind of a bang. He got the crowd going a little bit. Great speech afterwards. But we kind of knew this was coming. I mean, they put it together on 4 days.
Yeah, Evan Elder's talented though, and we saw that in a short notice fight like this, that talent was probably gonna shine the most, and Evan Elder's talent shined the most.
100%. But overall, fight of the night goes to Drew Dober and Juan Silva. They get the bonus. Yep, we called it again. I think, we got to keep track of how many we call because I think we've been really
consistent with
consistent and profitable. Performance of the night: Montel Jackson and Charles Johnson get the bonuses as well.
So.
Deservingly say. Overall, 6-3 on the night. Very profitable night. UFC Denver in the crowd. Joe, how was your night?
Yeah, I got 6 wins as well, but I also had 5 losses. Probably would have had the 7th win if there wasn't that no contest, but because I had a couple of those losses, Van blew my parlay, so lost out on that one. I thought I was gonna hit.
I went 1-1. Yeah, I went 1-1 on my parlays. I hit crazy enough. I hit the 4-legger, but I don't hit the 2-legger because Santiago Ponzinibbio. Hey, maybe he was robbed. I'll go on your thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll go on yours. But boxing, we had a really good night. I was trying to keep up the connection. When you're around 15, 16,000 people, it's kind of hard to get some service. But I did see our girl Sky. I watched it when I came back. Dominant, 100-90.
So good. She might have hit a new gear and another level.
Was she close to putting her out or no?
I mean, she hit a huge overhand right in the 5th round. And she looked good throughout the entire fight, never in danger and just landing. So, I mean, she's going to be a mountain to climb. I'll be honest with you. I don't, that's why you see everyone said it. She's like the boogeyman of that featherweight division. Nobody wants to face her because she's going to outclass you and make you look silly in there.
She didn't lose a single round, Joe. I mean, it's crazy. She's 11-0. And we keep saying, I think we started talking about her when she was 6 or 7-0. We're like, oh, she's good. She's good. I mean, how much better can this girl get? That is my thing. Like, she is really good. She's all class. She's humble. She's marketable. People love her. Amanda Serrano doesn't love her. I'll say that. And she can fight.
She's running. Yeah,
she's running. That's for sure. And also we had in Philadelphia as well, Jerome Boots Ennis. He stops David Evanence to defend his IBF welterweight world title.
Another knockout for him.
Yeah, the corner threw it in right in the 5th round.
Yeah, it counts as another TKO finish, bro. I'm pretty sure he literally majority of his professional fights have ended with him getting a knockout. I think only one and went to the judges.
I've read now people want to see. I mean, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, he said he's going to make a call for Boots Ennis and Terrence Crawford.
Yeah,
is that even plausible?
Yeah, I had at one point Jaron Boots Ennis ranked in my pound for pound, but with all the stuff that happened, with Jesse Bam Rodriguez and all the movements elsewhere, that he did get dropped out. But he's just looking in. He's literally on the outside looking in, and he can make it if there's anyone that drops out or if he gets a fight like that. I mean, imagine the scenes if he were to get the fight with Bud Crawford. Imagine if he were to ice Bud Crawford.
Bud Crawford is a top 3 fighter in the world, I think, collectively amongst everyone. Do you honestly think he could put a challenge? Ennis could put a challenge to Bud Crawford?
Power speaks for itself, man. I was asking the people about it, what they think about, like, is power overrated or underrated? And I mean, all it takes is, power is the game changer. So power is like, could be maybe not overrated, maybe not underrated, just right, because we all know that all it takes is one with the power. So, I mean, that's it. Yeah, Bud Crawford can have every advantage in the book, but, man, Boots Ennis lands one clean shot flush, man, lights might go out. So, I'm glad I hit on both of them, though. I did get Boots correct, and I did get Nicholson correct. And I did get Raymond Murtala against Tevin Farmer correct because that was the new main event for ESPN. Because Alakamuli, I don't know if you saw that. He had to drop out. So there was no WBO or IBF middleweight title on the line last night for ESPN.
Sick?
Yeah, I think something wrong with the weight cut or a medical issue or something. So, it wasn't on the challenger. It actually was from the champion. And the camp came out and said that he wasn't able to make it to the ring. So,
wow. Yeah, I did not hear about that. All right, so hey, 3-0. We sweep the board with boxing. We have a
parlay probably got squeezed to -400, so not much, getting out of it, but still hit. So 4-0 in boxing if you count the parlay.
I love it. So we had a profitable weekend. I love that. Boxing went really well. UFC Denver went really well. So yeah, amazing job there, Joe. Before we get to some news, not a lot to talk about, but some fights to definitely talk about. Before we do that, a quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf or an elderberry watching the Euros today. Is it coming home? We will see. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. Joe, I'll say this. I wish they were selling Vivas down here in Colorado. I needed one yesterday. Some news, no boxing news to really talk about, but a couple fights were announced. UFC Paris, we got a really banger fight. Nasruddin Imavov taking on Brandon Allen. One, are you surprised they're not running it back with Jared Cannonier? That's one. And two, do you like this fight for Brandon Allen? It's a step up. He's 7th. He could crack the top 5 with this win. And if he beats Nasruddin, I think he's right there.
Yeah, and we saw that nobody really wanted to fight Nasruddin Imavov. So yeah, I think it's a tremendous opportunity. I like it. You know, it's kind of how far away are we for it? Again, when is this supposed
to be? September 28th.
Yeah, I mean that gives enough time. That's like a little. I mean, that's like months. I was gonna say that's like a 6-week, 7-week camp right there. So yeah, I mean, they definitely have enough time to prepare. I like it. I really do. I think it's a great fight because like we said, nobody wanted to fight Imavov, and the fact that we're getting that fight, I think is good.
No lines yet, but do you think Brandon Allen would be favored, or do you think they would give it to Imavov?
I mean, as much as I said nobody wants to fight Imavov, I think the same said for Brandon Allen. Nobody really wanted to fight him. So, I mean, I'm glad they agreed. If I were to say, I think they might give Brandon Allen the favorite line. I think he'd be slight favorite. Maybe as much like -140.
I was just going to say, I think they would give Brandon Allen around -150, -155. I think that's fair, though. And yeah, these are two guys that no one in that division want to fight in that middleweight division. So we'll see. Should be a banger. I am actually surprised they didn't run it back with Jared Cannonier. With all the question marks relaying it, Jared Cannonier came out and said he wanted to run it back. I think he's getting the short end of the stick. We'll say what it is, but yeah, I like the fight. Nonetheless, I really do like the fight for both of them because we've been waiting. Brandon Allen just headlined a main event in an Apex, and now he comes in going to kind of enemy territory. He definitely won't have the crowd, but should be very interesting. I like the fight for both fighters. Now, last night, I don't know how true it is, but according to the French-Canadian broadcast, they said both of these fights will happen at UFC Noche. Sean O'Malley taking on Merab Dvalishvili, which we thought, and Ilia Topuria will defend his belt against Max Holloway. If that is the case, I think speculation is starting to, I guess, climb, because I've heard a lot of rumors throughout this week because there was a flyweight main event. I don't think Valentina wants to fight at the Sphere against Alexa Grasso. I think that's what it really is. And if it is true, I think this report is true. I think they're going to just do these 2 title fights. Now, it's very unprecedented that they do 3 title fights. And if they do, I think the women, Alexa and Valentina, have to fight. One, but we could go a bunch of different directions. One, do you think these reports are accurate? And if they are, do you like it? And 3, do you think we see these women fight at the Sphere?
I think there's some validity in a way towards it. It's probably what they're trying to get done. It's probably what the UFC is trying to get done. Mm-hmm. No confirmation, no verbal agreements, nothing on paper yet. So they wanted to keep this, I guess, swept under the rug as much as possible so they don't leak any information. But, I don't know why that was said. So I doubt that they're going on their own. I bet you they're probably like trying to make those fights, but it wasn't their job to go ahead and announce that. So, man, I don't know. I kind of am on the fence about it. Like I said, it could be something that they're trying to do, but it wasn't supposed to be leaked like that. And I don't know. I honestly think, Valentina doesn't really have much pull at the moment, unfortunately. She's done a lot for the company. She's been a champion, but I feel like, you just did the show. We're in the midst of it. It's supposed to conclude by the time. We still never got the tough fight between Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor. So I doubt the UFC is going to want to go 0-2 in the last 2 seasons of Tough. So I really think that Valentina is going to have no choice in fighting at the Sphere against Alexa Grasso. If she wants to get her title back, she's going to have to see it September.
I think it's because of the crowd. Obviously, Alexa Grasso is going to have the home crowd for her. It's a Noche UFC event. Yeah, I think she has no say. As much as a legend she is and how much she has done for the company, I think the champion has more say. And if Alexa Grasso wants to fight at the Sphere, they're going to fight at the Sphere. Do you think we see 3 title fights? Is it more likely? Because I think the one fight or the one title fight, I think we are going to see Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili there. I don't know if we necessarily are going to see Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria there. That's what I'm on the fence about. Okay. I think it's fair. More the flyweight women. I think that's what's going to be the co-main event.
Okay, yeah, I like that. And that's been announced everywhere, and that's what they're saying that's definitely going to take place is that fight. So the other ones are just speculation. Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko are pretty much confirmed for 306.
I mean, I don't know if you saw this, it's a little off topic, but there's this influence boxer who sold out the stadium where Real Madrid plays in Spain.
Santiago Bernabeu?
Yeah, and we go, oh yeah, Ilia Topuria was right. He would definitely sell that out. If an influencer boxing fight is selling it out, what do you think Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria are going to do?
Oh yeah, they're selling it out. Spanish fans are crazy too. They'll show up, man. Expect scenes in about, let's see, a couple hours from now for the Euros. Yeah. Spanish or English?
Yeah, I mean, Joe, it's not coming home. I'll say that.
It's coming home.
Okay, so we'll end on that because there's no boxing to talk about. I got Spain winning the Euros today or Sunday, and then for the Copa America, I got Argentina winning.
And I have England and Colombia.
But just you can't make
hey. Yeah, so I'm glad we're on the opposite sides. But if you want me to mention, I did actually hit again on 10 seconds left. So we're just rolling. Nice. We're rolling, and we got a lot in store for next show. I mean, an absolutely jam-packed weekend.
I mean, next weekend's going to be lit. UFC is back at the Apex. Who is it? Amanda Lemos taking on Verena Jandiroba. We got the Jake Paul fight, Amanda Serrano fighting this weekend or next weekend as well. So we're locked and loaded. It's going to be a good one, Joe. But that is going to do it for this Monday edition of Axe Cake Picks. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva Tequila, Joey, myself, we'll see you guys on Friday. So make sure you guys follow along our social media at Axe Cake Picks. You guys can find all of our episodes if you missed one wherever you get your podcasts. Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, all that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend. Everyone have a good week. God bless, and we will see you guys on Friday. Peace.